Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello and welcome to this episode of our show. This is your host, Keith Doherty. Today our special guest is top mortgage banker Steve Green of Brand Mortgage based out of Grant, Alabama. Steve has 16 years of experience in the mortgage industry. He is based in Grant, Alabama, which has a population of 1,000 people, yet he is still one of the top producers in Brand Mortgage. Steve has received several honors over the last several years, such as being inducted into the Brand Elite for the last 2 years and being inducted into the Brand Champions Club the 4 years prior to that. All right, with all that said, Steve, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Steve, if we could, for our listeners, could you tell us what led you into becoming a mortgage banker? You know, was that something you knew you always wanted to do, or did you maybe stumble into this?
Actually, it was a little bit of a stumble into. I was doing sales for a tropical plant brokerage of all things, and a guy became familiar with me through one of his contacts and recruited me. They were looking for people with really great sales ability, and so they recruited me, did some interviews, and then found out that I had a knack for it, and then it quickly became my passion. But it wasn't something that I originally planned in doing when I got out of college, but it has been a passion ever since.
Excellent. And can you talk a little bit about some of the personal attributes, traits, or qualities that you think have most contributed to the success that you've had?
Sure. I think the biggest thing in my industry is that you have to be self-motivated. What we do is basically commission-based, and no one's there to push you forward. You have to be willing to set your schedule, stick to it, read books, take classes, constantly keep up with what's going on, because it is an ever-changing industry. And I think my ability to self-study has been the one that's helped me more than anything else.
Excellent. And do you think you could give our listeners an example of when these traits have played a role in your path towards success?
Yeah, well, I think most recently example was that I took some mentoring programs and found ways to help market, my business and others. So I was able to use those to help some of my clients actually gain business. And there's no better way to get business from people than to help them grow theirs. So using the training methods that I found on my own has really helped me to help others, and I think that's the best thing.
Now, obviously, Steve, with any venture or any business, it seems like, not everything's always just, smooth sailing and easy. So could you talk a little bit about some of the adversities or trials that you had to overcome in order to achieve your goals and have the success you've had so far?
Sure, absolutely. I think looking back to the beginning, getting past the gatekeepers, getting to the people you need to show them what you offer is the hardest part. There are so many lenders, bankers, mortgage guys out there that the clients we call on get bombarded. So to get past them and get to the people you need to talk to is very challenging. How I did it was finding ways to offer value, true value, and then after building up a reputation, it became easier and easier because people had heard my name. But in the beginning, it was very hard. You get a lot of rejection when you're starting out because there's so many of us. But what you find really quickly is there's a lot of numbers, but not a lot of quality. So once you can build that up, it helps you to overcome that adversity.
Excellent. And I think something I want to highlight there that you said is you talked about providing value, and I think that's important in any business, whether it's real estate or the mortgage industry or any industry really, for your end consumer, is to find a way that you can really provide value. Like you said, you didn't quite have the reputation in the beginning, but you found a way that you could offer somebody some value, you could help them, you could serve them, and eventually by doing that you built a reputation, and then of course from there things just got better for you.
Absolutely. That was really the turning point for my entire career.
Excellent. And I guess, as you hit an adversity or a trial, what keeps you going? Why didn't you give up? What's your driving force?
This may sound a little corny, but family. I love what I do. I love helping people, but I also have a family to provide for. I have a very loving wife who's very supportive, and I'm lucky and blessed enough to have good people around me. My company has some of the best people in the industry. They're very supportive. I've got great mentors, and really when you run into something like that and you start to take a step backwards, it's the people standing behind you to help lift you back up that keeps you going forward, in my opinion. And I've been lucky. I've been in the right place at the right time, and that's just helped to support and keep me, where I need to be.
Excellent. And I guess kind of looking forward a little bit, what's your vision for your business and your career, say, over the next 5 years?
So right now, I'm trying to build a team. I've gotten to the point where I pretty much have as much business as I personally can handle, but I want to help more people. Like I said earlier, this industry has tons of people in it, but not tons of quality. And it's one of those things where you might get someone who hasn't had the best training or doesn't know their programs. And I want to help develop a team of people so that we can serve the community better and expand the area we serve. And the only way to do that really is to train people the right way, find the right people and get them there. So, that's my goal. It's for me now I'm at a point where it's not about making money. It's about how do I help a larger number of people without hurting the customer service to the people I already work with. And that's kind of where I am. And where I'm headed is developing that team around me.
Excellent. Now, you talked about, obviously, you've built up a reputation and you have a good stable of business, but, what do you feel the best way that you actually market yourself as a mortgage professional so that you can have that continual growth, and maybe how you can help others have that growth?
Sure. So, as I was starting out, I think the thing I would mention to people is that social media and video marketing, that's what's hot right now. That's where you can reach a lot of people quickly and really put out a positive message, let them know who you really are. It's not a flyer, it's not a print ad. It's a way that with video and social media, you can actually let people know what you stand for. And on that topic, if someone listens to this that's starting out in our industry, they need to be sure they're not just sell, or push, or come to me. They need to be out there, like we talked about earlier, offering value. What do they do well? What do they do better? And how can they get that message across to people? Because at the end of the day, nobody wants a loan officer. Nobody wants a realtor. Nobody wants a builder. They want a home. And people kind of get shocked when I say that, but it's so true. People don't want me. They need me. They want a home. And when you're in our industry, the sooner you learn that and the sooner you realize that it's not about ego, it's not about look at me, it's about how do I get this family where they need to be, then your marketing changes and your attitude changes, and then people flock to you. And that's what happened. People call me now because they know that that's the guy that I am.
I think that's great advice for everybody listening, especially if you're starting out or you're in the business, in real estate or in the mortgage side, that to realize what the end goal is. Like you said, they don't really want to deal with you. They don't necessarily want a realtor, but the ends to the means of, hey, I want a house and I want this house, and the realtor showed it to me. I put an offer in. Now I'm coming to Steve, and Steve's going to help me get the financing I need to make this dream a reality. But at the end game, like you said, it's not about you. It's not about it's really about, I want to be in this house when this is where I want to take and raise my family.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's exactly it. And the more I listened to my clients over the years, the more I became to realize that fact,
So, Steve, I think with every industry, real estate and the mortgage industry, sometimes there's misconceptions that people have. So what do you think the biggest misconception or myth people have about working with a mortgage broker is?
I think there's a few. I'm trying to figure out which one I would consider the biggest, but lately what I've been seeing is that people think that all mortgage brokers or bankers are alike, and that's just simply not the case. People have specialties, people have different programs, companies have different things. So many times I get the call where they're like, hey, you can't, I know you can't help me because XYZ mortgage couldn't help me, and 30 days later they're in their home with their family. I think the misconceptions are that we're all alike, and we're not across the board. Every company has its strengths and its weaknesses, and I think people need to realize just because they had a no somewhere or just because they didn't get the answer that they expected, keep going. I'm not saying apply for credit in multiple places. I'm saying call and ask questions, explore, look, ask your realtors. I mean, there's a lot of mortgage bankers and brokers and lenders out there, but they're all not the same.
Excellent. And let's say that someone, they're looking for a mortgage banker like yourself. Maybe it's in a state that you don't handle, but, from a general advice standpoint, let's say, one of your friends calls you and you don't happen to service their area. What advice would you give them about selecting a mortgage banker? They could serve their needs, kind of like you make sure you take care of your people. What would you tell them to look for in selecting a professional like yourself?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. There's a few things that I tell people, and number one is, do your research. Try to find someone who has done business with them before. If they're working with a builder or a realtor, obviously they're going to know who has given them smooth closings on time. So, trust in the professionals you're working with there, and look for references. Talk to a human being that has actually closed a loan with them. Ask them for references in that situation because, you can get lenders from across the country and they're not going to know everything. They're not going to know your backyard. They're not going to know the best attorney. You need someone who knows your area, who can work with you to get you in that home. And the best way to do that is just ask questions, ask questions, ask questions. People don't ask enough questions, and that would help them quite a bit. And first step is find a realtor, find a builder that's local that you trust, and then they're going to help you with advice. They're going to give you 2 or 3 suggestions. And when you talk to those people, you need a feeling of trust. People underestimate that this is one of the most important decisions of their entire life. If that little voice in your head says, I don't trust this guy, don't do business with him. I mean, stop. Until it closes, you don't have to deal with that lender. And if you don't trust them, you follow that instinct. And that served me well, and I think it served my clients well. And I think if more people would listen to that little voice in their head, it would help them out quite a bit.
Excellent advice for people to listen to there. Now, Steve, we talked earlier about the areas that your company services, and just for our listeners, I'll say those here. We're talking about Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, North and South Carolina, Virginia, and Kentucky. So if one of our listeners happens to be in one of those areas that you do service, how can someone that needs your services find out more about you and how you can help them?
Yeah, it's really easy. Our website is brandmortgage.com. That's B-R-A-N-D, brandmortgage.com. And they can just go there and look for Steve Green. Or the really simple way to get all my contact info is to get my free app. Just text my name, Steve, to 31996. That's Steve to 31996. They'll receive my free app. It's got a wonderful mortgage calculator on there that helps figure PMI and all that stuff that some of the online calculators aren't very good at. And have all my contact information, news, some articles about our awards and that kind of thing. So that's really the best way, and I'm always there to help folks. But brandmortgage.com or text Steve to 31996.
Excellent. Well, Steve, we obviously want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule and coming here and sharing all of your mortgage professional business experience with all of our listeners. And if you want to learn more about Steve, obviously you can go to his website, like you mentioned, brandmortgage.com, or you can text Steve to 31996. And we'll actually have all that information along with his phone number and email and any other contact information we have below this interview so that you can easily get in touch with Steve and see if you guys are a good fit to work together. So until our next show, everybody, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.